Hey, what's up you guys, it's Connor, and today I'm going to be continuing my 2016 reading wrap-up with books 86 through 90. I've hit 90 books this year, so happy about it, but let's just get into the reviews. So the 86th thing that I read in 2016 is going to be Age of Myth by Michael J. Sullivan. I did a full non-spoiler book review on this. It's a little bit longer because it's epic fantasy and I wanted to go into a little bit more detail, but I'm actually pretty proud of that review. So if you want to know more of my thoughts on this book, please go and check out that book review. I'll leave it in the card symbol and down below. But basically this novel is about a bunch of humans that have been treated very poorly by elves, and the humans actually have been thinking that the elves are gods for hundreds and hundreds of years, but in actuality they're just elves. And so one day a human kills an elf, and then that rumor spreads, and the book is about the consequences of that rumor spreading. Or that fact, I guess, technically, because it did happen. And so the elves are now freaking out, trying to make sure that they keep control over humans, and then the humans are now starting to realize that they have been treated poorly and that these are not gods and that they need to stand up for themselves. So it's just mainly about that, but it follows a bunch of different characters within this world, and there's also some really cool magic that's in this world. And I ended up giving this book 4 stars. Absolutely loved it. We'll definitely be continuing on with the series. Moving on. The next book I read is going to be Full Tilt by Neal Shusterman. As you guys know, I love Neal Shusterman. This one is about 2 brothers. The older brother has always been super responsible. The younger brother is the outcast, the one that has tons of piercings, doesn't really fit in, doesn't care to fit in. And then the younger brother's soul gets captured by an evil carnival, and then the older brother, goes into the carnival to save his brother and to figure out what is going on. In this carnival, it is an evil carnival, so it wants to trap everyone's souls within the carnival, and to escape you have to ride 7 rides and you have to experience 7 of your fears to be able to leave. And I really ended up enjoying this novel. I ended up giving it 3 stars just because it's very short, and so I thought some of the fierce experiences that Blake was going through during the novel could have been expanded more, and I think that I just didn't fully connect to Blake and emotionally, but I really did enjoy the story, and I think it has a lot of good messages. It has a lot of messages that have to do with self-image and overcoming things within your past, stuff like that, overcoming trauma that has happened to you and understanding that things don't always happen for a reason, and you just have to move on and not be held back by events from your past. Obviously, that's a really good message that people would benefit from hearing, and so I really did enjoy that part. I think, I gave it 3.5 stars because I really did enjoy it. It was better than 3 stars, but not quite at that 4 level where I really connected with the characters emotionally. The next book I picked up is Halts Peril by John Flanagan. This is the 9th book in the Ranger's Apprentice series, and I had very high hopes going into this book because I absolutely loved book 8. Book 8 and 9 kind of go together. They have an overall plot that connect the two, but I made the mistake of reading the little blurb that's on the inside flap. If you make it to book 9, do not read the blurb because it tells you exactly every single thing that happens in this book. Nothing was a surprise. I knew everything that was going to happen. It was so just like tedious to read after that because the book is longer than most of the other books, and it was just like, I already know this is gonna happen. It took about 200 pages to get past the first half of this little blurb, and then this like 1 sentence is the second half of the book. So I just didn't like that. I ended up giving it 4 stars because I like the characters and I like the writing and I like how funny the characters are in this book, but the plot for me was lacking because I read the blurb and it ruined everything. So it's like a personal experience rating, but I did really like it. I will be continuing along with the series. I don't own 10, 11, or 12 yet, but hopefully soon I will. I then finally finished The Stories of the Raksura, Volume 2 by Martha Wells. This is the 2nd collection of short stories and novellas that have to do with the Books of Raksura trilogy. Absolutely love that trilogy, and these collection of short stories and novellas have to be read after the original trilogy because a lot of the novellas take place after the 3rd book, and so you would need to, read the first 3 books before you could get to these. I took a huge break in between reading the first half of the book and the second half of the book, so I can't really remember all that well the first little short stories. According to my Goodreads updates, there was a couple that I really just did not care about where it doesn't even have anything to do with the characters. It's just set in the world with a whole bunch of different characters, and I didn't really like those because I didn't really care about them. I just wanted stories about Moon and Jade and all of the Indigo Cloud Court. but I didn't get that all the time. The last novella though that I just finished today actually was so good. I absolutely loved it. That was exactly what I wanted out of this volume. So I ended up giving this volume as a whole 4 stars because some were 3 stars, like I liked them but I didn't really care about them all that much, and then some were really good, 5 stars and 4 stars. So I just kind of mushed them all together for 4 stars. If you guys don't know what the series is about, at the beginning of the first book of the trilogy, Moon is bopping around from town to town. He doesn't know where he belongs and he's searching for his own species because he has not been able to find it yet, and he actually looks very similar to a species that everyone where he's from hates, and so he's driven away from these villages that he stops in over and over and over again, and so he's kind of losing hope when he finally runs into someone of his own species, and then he gets swept up with that character, and he ends up trying to figure out what it means to be a Raksura, how he fits into the society and things like that. Such a good series. Please read it if you like high fantasy. So good. There are so many different kinds of people in this world. I really like all the cultures and the different languages and the world setup. I just absolutely love it, and I know that a 4th book in the series just came out. So the original trilogy it's by itself. You can just read those 3 books, but I'm curious enough where I'm going to pick up that 4th book and see what all the fuss is about, and I just really like it. I recommend it. And the 90th thing that I read is going to be Food Wars Volume 2 by Yuto Tsukuda. That's my guess. If you don't know what this is about, it's about a boy named Soma whose father owns a small restaurant that he works in, and the restaurant's claim to fame is that they can make anything, whatever you want, whenever you want it, and then his father decides to close their shop and go on a journey, and he sends Soma to a cooking school to become a chef, and he says that if Soma ever wants to be as good as his father, he has to do extremely well in this school, and so Soma is on a mission to become the #1 student in the whole school. I really like this series. I really like the fact that they make cooking into a battleground and these people are battling it out. It's kind of like the Cooking Channel where all of these chefs are competing against each other for pride and recognition, and they do have that element. I will say though that a lot of the time whenever the people are tasting food, it's very fan servicey, which means that the characters are skimpily dressed, or if they're female, they're usually just kind of draped with a curtain, or they are very provocatively posed, things like that. If you want to see some of the art, okay, there's a butt on that page, so I can't show that one. So this is just some of the normal artwork. Would be like this, and then one of the fan servicey ones, so little kids cover your eyes, is like this, and so the girls are just covering their private parts, and like there's just like something random that's covering her private parts. But if you don't mind that stuff, I think that the story is very fun, very entertaining, and I'm really enjoying it. I will be continuing with the series as well. I ended up giving this volume 4 stars. So those are the next 5 things I read in 2016. Let me know down in the comments what you've been reading. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and I will talk to you guys next time.